Okay, so it is time to start planting seeds in East Texas. So I pulled out my old trusty $5 Dollar General seed starter kit. Got 72 cells in it. Can grow 72 plants. And I pulled out my old potting mix that I normally use for everything. So we're ready to get started, right? Wrong. So here's what Hoss Tools sent me. That will last for years. That is a substantial, I can't even hardly twist it, a substantial piece of plastic right there. And guess what? 162 cells in it. I counted 162. So this is what we're going to be using. It's going to fit perfectly inside a little tray that I use for underground or underneath watering. And let me show you something else they sent me. Maybe even gooder than this. So first of all, here's what I was going to use. And this is the potting soil that I use for everything. But it has got a lot of sticks, bark. I mean, a lot of big pieces in it. A lot. So I had it all laid out, had enough ready to go, and guess what? Hoss came through again. Let me show you what they sent. So Hoss sent this Pro Mix, organic seed starting Pro Mix. I didn't even know there's such a thing as a seed starting mix. The other is that I use, like I said, is a potting mix. This is a seed starting mix. I didn't even know such a thing existed. Shows my ignorance. So we're going to cut into this and see what the difference is. It doesn't have all the clumps. In other words, it's very sifted, very good stuff, very fine stuff. So let's cut in it and see what it looks like. Oh man, I can see a big difference. Holy moly, that's good stuff. All right, let me spread it out in the tray and just show you how to plant seeds in general, but also show you the mix. So here's how we plant. Get you a good tray. I've never seen one this nice, this strong and sturdy. Pour the mix in. I'll show you the difference in the mix in just a second. And it's been sitting here for a while, so it's a little clumped, but I don't see any big pieces at all. That's the biggest piece I see, and it ain't much compared to dozens and dozens of other pieces. So pour it out. It's been very, like I say, been very humid, and the mix has been sitting here for several weeks. Press it down in the holes, in the cells. Trying to not to make too much mess, don't want to waste it. And that one bag is enough to do 2 of these cells. So enough to do 162 times 2, whatever that is. That's a bunch. That's what it equals to. 162 times 2 equals a lot. And now what I'll do is just come through here and just dimple. Put a little dimple in the tops of them. Kind of look like a piano chord. I believe that's about a G. Actually, that's a G, but or an F or a C, depends on where you place it. And just dimple a little bit, getting ready to receive the seed. And you're checking also while you're doing it to make sure the cells are full of the mix. I got a couple of them over here still spongy. That's full. All right. That is pretty. Now we'll start planting some seeds. And again, let me just show you a close-up of the other mix, the potting mix that I use. It's just some huge, it's about all it is. It's just big pieces. And there's the difference. I mean, just really, really nice. Let's start putting some seeds in it. So I opened up the seed pack. This is a particular one is a Bella Rosa tomato from Hoss. Most of my seeds are from Hoss. And it's a coated seed. So that's pretty cool. It will protect it from rot and such. So let's put them in. And makes it a whole lot easier to see in that dirt. I'm just going to plant one per hole. Got enough seed I could do two. That's going to be 18 Bella Rosas. There's the seed. Again, it's a coated seed. Looks like a little egg laying in there. Let's plant some more. Okay, so I've got them all the seeds in the little holes. I've kind of pressed them down a little bit. I want to make sure they got good contact with the earth, with the soil, the mix. And forgot to tell you, we need to make sure that the mix is a little wet. So water it a little bit before you start. Before you start planting, before you start putting the seeds in. Again, just making sure they're not really pushing them down in the dirt, in the mix that much. Just making sure they've got good contact, and I've got a good enough indention that I can put soil on top of it. Mix on top. I keep saying soil. All right, and all I'm going to do is just dust this lightly over it. You don't want to cover it up real deep, but I'll just dust it over it real lightly. Another reason I was pushing the seed down in a little bit, when I come back over and do like this, I don't want to move those seeds, so make sure the seed is down in the groove. And got my heating pad. Got my heat mat, seed starting heat mat over there heating up. I have to get a little bit more out of the bag here. About running out here. That's probably enough. A few little twigs. I don't think that came from the other mix though, actually. Trying not to disturb the seeds that are in there, being very gentle. Just want to cover them up. You don't necessarily want to cover them up deep or anything like that. Just want to make sure you don't see seed. And just sprinkle on top until you are happy with it. Happy with the fact that the seed's not showing. Again, you want that seed in contact with the potting mix real well. All right, we're going to water it again, and then we're going to put it on the heat mat. Let me show you that. Again, you want to water it in, but you don't want to water it so hard that you wash that little seed out of its bed. Very, very lightly. Very lightly. Almost spray bottle would be better. You got to get that wet. Seed needs 3 things to germinate. That's heat, water, soil, and then needs another thing to grow, and that is light. We don't need to put light on them yet. They need heat, they need water, and they need soil or some kind of medium. Okay, so I've got them all on the heat mat. Again, this is I really like this heat mat. I will put a link to it below this video in the show more box. I've used it a number of times to start seeds, and it really does a good job. It's adjustable. I usually put it on 78, and it hasn't got there yet. It's at 57 right now. I just now turned it on, just now put the probe in, and that's something else it's got is a probe that you put in your in one of the cells, and it reads it and adjusts accordingly. You want about 78, maybe 80 degrees. I think I've got this set on 78. And anyway, there's all the seeds. I planted a few more things in because I'm planting some for my brother-in-laws, and I put them in 6-packs where I can give to them. But this is the bulk of it. I usually do this in the house. This is in the barn. If I see the heat is not coming up like I want it to tomorrow, then I will take this in the house. Well, I went out to the barn this morning. The temp on the heat mat was 68. It was just too cold out there, and I have recollected that I've tried to start seeds in the barn before and did poorly. So brought them in the house, spare bedroom, on the bed, on one of my wife's favorite quilts. So she is just going to love this. And we are. Seems to be working good. We're right at 78. That's what we want. I may turn it up to 80, but 78 is pretty good. Something else I did, and something else I like to do when I plant seed, is put some cling wrap, saran wrap over the top of them. That just holds in the moisture, kind of like a mini greenhouse. And you can see that it's already, see how white it looks? That's condensation under there. See? So it's, going to keep it a little bit more moist. Now, at this stage, they do not need light. You can put them in a lighted room, but they don't need light. All they need is warmth. And I just push that down in there. It's 82. I may have, but I just push the probe a little deeper, and if I can get 82 down there and 78 up there or something like that, I may have to turn it down to 80 or 78. But anyway, it's working great in here. The house is 70, 72, something like that. They as soon as they start sprouting, as soon as I see any germination of any of them, not all of them, but any of them, just 1 or 2, 3 of them come up, I'm taking the saran wrap off, and I'm going out there in the barn and putting them under grow lights. They've got to have light. Don't need light right now, but they've got to have light when they start sprouting. When they germinate. But that's a whole nother video, and we're gone for now. Plant you some seeds.